Today is Tuesday, July the 7th, 2020. We are here for a town board meeting. Jody, can you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
In keeping with our tradition, having a faith-based invocation, today we have with us Reverend Daniel Orayena of the Iglesia Familia de Dios. Welcome, bienvenidos.
Buen día.
En Segunda de Crónicas, capítulo 7 y versículo 14 se lee: y si mi pueblo, el pueblo que lleva mi nombre, se humilla, ora, me busca y deja su mala conducta, yo lo escucharé desde el cielo, perdonaré sus pecados y devolveré la prosperidad a su país.
In 2nd of Chronicles, chapter 7 and verse 14, it reads, if my people who are called by my name should humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
Gracias te damos, Padre nuestro, por permitirnos elevar a ti nuestra voz en tan importante reunión. Cuando leo en tu palabra, oh gran Dios, exhorto ante todo a que se hagan rogativas, oraciones, peticiones y acciones de gracias por todos los hombres, por los reyes y por todos los que están en eminencia, para que vivamos quieta y reposadamente en toda piedad y honestidad. Esa es nuestra súplica, Dios de amor.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to raise our voices to you in such an important meeting. When I read your word, oh great God, I read that you request prayers. You request for us to thank the kings and for all who are in eminence, so that we may live quietly and peacefully in all honesty. That is our plea, God of love.
Padre Dios Todopoderoso, dador de la vida, te rogamos que guíes a nuestras autoridades civiles, desde nuestro presidente Donald John Trump y demás autoridades, a hacer tu perfecta voluntad. Concédeles sabiduría de lo alto para trabajar en unidad y hacer lo que es justo y recto ante tus ojos.
Father Almighty, we ask you to guide our civil authorities, from our President Donald Trump to local authorities, to do your perfect will. Give them wisdom from heaven to work in unity and do what is right and fair before you.
Te pedimos, oh Dios, que tu sabiduría los envuelva. Hay tantos problemas en nuestra comunidad que necesitan ser resueltos y que únicamente bajo la guianza tuya se tendrá lo mejor y más beneficiosa salida.
We ask you, God, that your wisdom will surround them. There are many problems in our community that need to be resolved, and the only way out is under your guidance.
Que el pensamiento escrito en el juramento a la bandera, que dice que somos una nación bajo Dios, no solo sea letra muerta, sino sea una realidad en la vida de todos nosotros, los ciudadanos. Nos permitas que no te ofendamos con malas decisiones, sino vivir bajo tus preceptos descritos en tu palabra, la Santa Biblia.
That the sentence written in the Pledge of Allegiance, which states that we are a nation under God, not only be a simple letter, but a reality in the lives of all of us. Do not allow us to offend you with bad decisions, but live under what's written and described in your word, the Holy Bible.
Cuando un pueblo se deja regir por tus preceptos, es un pueblo que vive en prosperidad, en bonanza y en perfecta paz consigo mismo y con las naciones que nos rodean.
When a country allows themselves to be governed by your precepts, it is a country who lives in prosperity and in peace with themselves and with the nations that surround us.
Oh Dios, que no nos olvidemos del legado que tenemos que dejar a nuestras generaciones, que se están levantando y que nos gobernarán en el futuro. Un legado de bien, un legado de actuación, un legado de justicia, un legado que glorifique tu nombre.
Y
Oh
muchas
God, please don't let
gracias.
us forget the legacy that we have to pass on new generations that are rising, that will govern us in the future. A legacy of good,
Okay, muchas gracias.
a legacy of acting in justice, a legacy that glorifies your name. We ask you, God, to give us simple hearts, to act in a sensitive way, to make us reach the most, the helpless, to understand their needs and make them feel that they are part of society that loves them without seeing them differently.
Thank you very, very much. Muchas
Te
gracias.
pedimos, oh Dios de amor, humildad, corazones sencillos, actuaciones sensibles que nos hagan llegar a los más desvalidos para entender sus necesidades y hacerlos sentir que somos parte de una sociedad que los ama sin verles diferentes.
Okay, we need to move forward. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. You know, usually if we try to cut it down to a minute or 2 minutes, and we have a very, very long meeting, and I thank you so much for coming today and moving forward. Before we get started, I just want to make
Thank you.
you
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Before we get started, I just want to make a quick announcement. The United States Postal Service, I was on a Zoom call with the East End representative this morning, and they have informed us that there are many job opportunities out in the East End that they're having a difficult time fulfilling. They're not sure what the purpose is, but if you go on to USPS.gov, you can apply online. Before we get started, I also want to make a brief statement. Due to COVID-19, current guidance limiting gatherings to no more than 25 people are in place. Town hall is open to a limited basis. As of tomorrow, Wednesday, indoor activities, low-risk indoor activities will be open for up to 50 people. All the information on live streaming, logging into the Riverhead website and logging into Zoom, or you can dial a phone number if you don't have a computer or something's wrong with your computer, you can use your cell, you can dial in, and you'll get the meeting ID and the password. Moving forward, can I get a first and a second to close the town board meeting and open a special community development agency meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Diane, can you?
Yes, certainly. Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
The town board meeting is closed and the CDA meeting is now open.
Dawn? Yeah. Dawn, can you come up, and, get the minutes approved, and then we'll take public comments on your resolution, okay?
Yes, we can do that. We have a resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Community Development Agency on June 16, 2020 at 2 p.m. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes are approved, and then we can take comments on the CDA resolution, for today, 2020-5.
Devin, do we have anybody with comments on the resolution before the CDA today?
So we're just gonna unmute everybody. John will let us know when we're good there. And then it'll be up to people to unmute themselves that are participating via Zoom. So everybody should be able to participate. We're gonna offer it up in offer that you guys entered the meeting room. So John McCullough, did you wanna comment on this resolution? No, looks like he,
I have to unmute
He's
left,
unmuting.
left bottom button.
John, can you hear us?
Okay, he's probably gonna come back on.
John McCullough, can you hear us?
No comment on this resolution.
Okay, that's the other John on there.
That was
John
No.
McAuliffe, did you want to comment?
No, thank you.
Okay. Ellen Hoyle, did you want to comment?
I just wanted to comment enough that I'm glad that the town board is going forward with this project, and to thank Councilwoman Kent for helping move this forward.
Okay, thank you. East End Arts, did you want to comment? Eric Beegler, did you want to comment? Is he unmuted?
No comment.
Okay. The RDA Esquire, RDH, I'm sorry, Esquire.
Yes, I'd like to comment.
Go ahead, state your name and hamlet, please, for the record.
Ron Hariri, Aquabog. Can you clarify where the millions of dollars in funding for this project will be derived from?
Yeah, Dawn, can you please, come up to the podium?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. My question was, the purchase price is in excess of $5 million. The demolition costs millions, and presumably the cost to construct the plaza will be several $1 million beyond that. My question is, given the fact that the town has issued a directive to its officials not to expend town funds in the midst of a pandemic and a recession, what is the source of funding for this project?
Okay, I have a question. The source of funding is a combination of grant funding. Currently, we're at about $1.8 million in grant money. In addition, we are looking to do a public-private partnership so that some of the parcels, some spaces within the square would be sold to a private developer to do part of the project. In addition, we've aggressively sought grant funding, which we've had very strong support from both the state of New York, the federal government, and the county of Suffolk. So between those three sources, we should be funding the project. It's hoped that we will have no taxpayer expenditure here, but that's the direction we're moving in.
There's also
Okay, do you have
right?
any commitment, beyond the grant funds in any concrete form to support the funding? And what do you anticipate for the cost of the construction of the plaza?
We have a commitment for approximately $1.8 million. We are in the process of, we have applied for $18 million thus far. We have very good and aggressively applied for that 18 million. We are looking for a public-private partnership. We have not established the total cost of the project because we have to work through the public process to design the project in completion.
Okay. So it's fair to say, except for that $1.8 million in grants, you don't know what the cost will be, and you don't have commitments. That's a fair statement, Ms. Thomas, isn't it true?
That's a fair statement, sure.
Thank you. Another question, and I direct this to Councilwoman Giglio. You're a regular on WRIV, and you indicated that the town should act expeditiously on this because developers are seeking to grab up these properties to build apartment houses. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you own a apartment building or have an ownership interest in an apartment building down the street. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay. With all due respect, do you think you potentially have a conflict of interest and should recuse yourself from this?
No, I've supported every apartment building that has been proposed to be built in downtown Riverhead. I support a town square because I think it's in the best interest of the community.
Okay, and in this instance, had developers purchased the buildings, right, down the street from you, they'd be competing with your Summerwind Square, isn't that right?
No, they wouldn't be. I'm under a different program than any of the apartments that have been built downtown, which includes Peconic Crossing, includes the Woolworth Building, includes 331 West Main Street, includes the apartment building that's being proposed in the West Marine Building. So, no, I've supported all those projects.
In this instance, though, you're asking the town to expend money that it doesn't have yet. Okay, and I hope it does get funding. I think it's a wonderful idea, but you don't know what those developers would build there. And if they did build something, it might ultimately compete with your project. And if they do something nice, it'll enhance the value of your project, right?
Any project that's done throughout the town of Riverhead helps all the residents of the town of Riverhead. The people in the town have been demanding a town square in downtown and no more apartments. And as an elected official, I listen to the constituents as to what they want. And they're saying that they do not want any more apartment buildings being built downtown. They want a town square and they want a center where they can congregate. And so I support my constituents and they respect that.
Yeah, but also, Councilwoman Giglio, you're a public official, you have fiduciary duty, and you have an obligation to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. So I do hope this project goes through, but I would just caution you to take steps to avoid an appearance of impropriety, and respectfully would request that you recuse yourself and seek the advice of the ethics board, whether or not it's appropriate for you to
Mr.
participate.
Harawi, let's not go down that path. We are here for a CBA meeting, to get public input. And once you start making accusations on a very positive effort that we're all working towards, that the community is excited about, and you're gonna take it to a point of, claiming all this haphazard, accusations, I'm not gonna stand for that. We heard your comments, and we appreciate your comments, and we're
Are you
here
shutting me down? Are you shutting me down because you don't like what I have to say, ma'am?
It has nothing to do with that. We need to have a professional meeting and not just have people make accusations.
Get to the resolution.
I'm not making
We're here for a
accusations.
resolution. We're not here for
I'm
your
not
personal
making
opinion.
accusations. I'm
We're here
suggesting
to
that I
address
have.
the resolution. You need to
I'm
address.
suggesting, yes, and I'm suggesting that I think I have a legitimate concern, and I think that the councilwoman will act appropriately, and I would ask that she seek appropriate advice, whether her involvement in this transaction raises questions that would affect the integrity of the process, and I would simply ask that she investigate it and address the concerns and get advice. And if after advice from a third party, she still feels comfortable, I wouldn't have a problem with her proceeding. But I think it's enough to be worthy of further consideration. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I don't appreciate Supervisor Aguiar, from you cutting down public discourse. It's inappropriate. My questions are legitimate, and you're not acting in the public interest.
Okay, that's your opinion, and thank you, and we're moving forward.
And the vote is to schedule a public hearing, so go ahead.
Thank you. I know you have. I know that you will act appropriately, and I would just ask that you consider it and make a reasoned decision in the public interest. Thank you, Councilwoman Giglio.
Okay, moving forward, Kelly McClinchy, did you want to make a comment?
No, thank you.
Okay. Barbara Blass, did you want to make a comment today on this resolution? Says you're connecting to audio. Can you hear us? Okay. Monique Parsons, did you want to make a comment today?
No, thank you.
Peter Wanderer, did you want to make a comment?
I'd like to make a comment, but after Kylan Keller makes a comment. She's the director. I'm on the board of the Long Island Science Center. She has a much better view of the state, so I would like to speak in support of her, but she should have the first word, so to speak. Thank you.
Okay, sure, we were gonna get to her, but we'll jump to her next. Kaylin, go ahead.
Hi. So I am Kylan Caller. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Island Science Center. And I'm sorry?
Nothing, go ahead.
Okay. I apologize if I have any internet troubles, but we have purchased the building next door. I'm sure that people are aware that we're a nonprofit and we've been in Riverhead for some time, moved away briefly and came back. And, you know, to make the decision to buy the building in the center was a difficult one for us because we had concern as to what was going to happen with the remaining buildings in the area that were vacant and have been vacant. And I think that we are very happy that the town of Riverhead is working towards helping make this area something that's going to be a beautiful attraction and something that will be a positive for the residents of Riverhead as well as the businesses on Main Street.
Okay, thank you. And Peter, did you want to follow up with that?
Thank you. Just very briefly, I see this as a win-win. We've been quite happy in our space now, sublet from B&B, and I think it's underneath the Summerlin building. A lot of excited people come in. They like our current round of demonstrations and things they can participate in. The space is very small, which is why we're moving, and the Sweezy building is an opportunity to expand to a size we would like, and that would be a win for us and also a win for Riverhead in terms of what the downtown would look like. And having the town square, I think, would enhance certainly us because the visitors would be there and see the Science Museum, which they would not otherwise probably encounter, and also be an attraction for the people that should come to the town square. Thank you for your time.
Okay, great.
And I just want to respond to them. I just would like to respond to both of you, how we couldn't be more pleased to have you in that location. You know, it is the will of the town to have our downtown area be a family-friendly area, and the Long Island Science Museum is absolutely perfect for that area, and we are also excited to have you there.
Okay, and Adam Brower, did you want to comment? And Foley, Mike Foley, did you want to comment? Mike, we're having trouble hearing you. You have an audio issue going on.
Hi, sorry about that. I'd like to hear John Collin first.
Same issue, Mike? It's on your end?
That sounds like you signed in twice.
Your
Sometimes you-
speakers are too loud, Mike.
Your speakers down, Mike? That might help.
Yeah, I'm awful sorry about the technical difficulties here. If I could hear John Cullen talk on this first, thank you. Oh, boy.
Mike, that's not working for us, Mike. You need to try to fix that.
Mike, the public hearing's coming up next for my decision here.
Go ahead, put it on to the person he wants and then go back to
He
them.
declined.
He just
That was John.
Yeah,
He
it's
had
about a
declined
different
before.
topic they want to talk on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that wraps up everybody in the queue that was waiting to comment here on the resolution.
Okay, hearing no more comments, Dawn, can you read the CDA resolution and take a call for the vote?
Resolution 2020-5 of the Community Development Agency. Resolution authorizes the town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing for Community Development Agency purchase of property located at 117 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-129-1-12, 121 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 600-129-1-13, and 127 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-129-1-13. We just need a vote, so we have a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
And favor?
Yes, of course.
Ken?
So I'm excited to move forward with this and hear from the public at the public hearing. This is something that came up at, having a town square and a gathering area is something that came up at both of the public forums and on the surveys that we did. So I believe that these are things the community wants to see, but I'm anxious to hear from the community at the public hearing. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Just extra thanks, Dawn, to you and the CDA and Frank and Joe and the work that you guys put into this to make this come to fruition. I absolutely vote yes. Thank you very much.
And thank you for saying that. Big team effort on our part, town attorney's office, us, you all, it's all, everyone's on it, so thank you for saying that. Vivian
Great job to all of you, and yes, to the public hearing.
and Aguirre.
Yes, when Dawn approached me back in February and she says, you know, everybody wants a town square and, let's go move forward, and we just we're under COVID, and, we sat down for many days and hours, and we shoot the breeze, and we went back and forth, and before we know it, she's excited, and we brought it to the town board, and we had a unified board on it, and, we met with the state since February twice, on this project, and one virtually, and we have another visit for more funding. Things have looked very promising, and again, thank you for your professionalism, your desire to move this forward, and absolutely yes.
Thank you to all for supporting our department and letting us do our work. Really appreciate that. And the resolution is adopted for the public hearing.
Right. Okay, thank you, Dawn.
I think we have comments on, just general comments on CDA?
Mhm. Any general comments on the CDA before we close the CDA meeting?
Okay, comments
I have a
on-
comment.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
Specifically to Councilman Hubbard. During a meeting recently, I asked you whether you were satisfied with the financial statements provided by Calvert and Aviation. He said in substance that you were satisfied on statements provided to your counsel in the past, and you relied on them. Do you remember that conversation we had a couple weeks ago, Councilman?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been following the developments regarding 555's financial difficulties in Minnesota, in Mall of America, and American Dream Mall in New Jersey, sir?
Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
What steps will you, as a member of the town board, take to assure that Calvert and Aviation has the financial ability, despite these financial troubles that have been well publicized, to A, purchase the property, and B, develop it based upon the representations that were made to the town?
I'm not really sure what you're asking, Ron, but we will be provided with financials at the point of closing. And if we're not satisfied at that point in time, then I would proceed not to close. If I am satisfied, I will proceed to close.
I mean, do you really think it's appropriate to spend more time, more money, more effort, given some red flags that have been presented in the media about what would appear, at the very least, to be some financial distress of this applicant, this developer?
It's not this developer, we're dealing with CAT. And CAT is a different subsidy or an entity than what you're referring to with the Mall of America and what you're referring to in Minnesota and New Jersey. So, you know, although I'm cautious, I am well aware of what's going on, but it's not directly related to the people that are looking to develop the EPCAL property.
So the fact that the parent corporation is in default under a $1.4 million mortgage is of no concern to you, sir?
I just said I'm cautious, but it has nothing directly to do with CAT. CAT is a different entity. If CAT was the one, if the CAT was the one, the entity that was in financial distress, that would be an entirely different conversation, but it's not, so it won't be.
So the bearing of the parent is not something that's a concern to you right now?
I'm
Just
cautious, but it's not a major concern, correct?
Not a major concern, your words.
Yeah, Ron, you having a problem hearing me? That's what I just said, yes.
I just hope it doesn't come back to haunt you, sir, and haunt the town of Riverhead.
Okay,
Thank
did
you for
anybody
your
else?
Good for you.
insight.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to comment today on anything else related to CDA? Mr. McAuliffe, go
Yes,
ahead.
I'd like to ask a question regarding, the previous comments, if I can.
State your name and Hamlet, please, for the record.
Sure, my name is Ellen Hoyle from Riverhead. And I have a question for Councilman Hubbard, as he just stated that CAT is the entity that is purchasing EPCAL and not the Gramasian family. Can you please specify who exactly is making up CAT Corporation LLC?
It's the people who we dealt with, the people that we qualified and found qualified and eligible to perform this endeavor. That's the people that are CAT.
Can you state for the record who exactly that is?
I won't, because I don't have the names in front of me and I don't want to mispronounce or give a wrong name.
So then you don't know who the members of CAT are at this particular moment?
I don't know the particular name without possibly saying an error in a name, Ellen. That's what I just stated.
Okay, so you don't know if it's still the Gramasians or some other entity?
It is still part of some of the Germasians.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. McAuliffe, did you want to make a comment?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
John McAuliffe from the Rolling Woods section of Riverhead. Just on the topic that's being discussed right now, I think the premise that one can wait until just before closing to do a financial evaluation of an extremely complicated corporate entity, and a point that I'll bring up in a minute, I think is a mistake. I think that financial evaluation needs to be ongoing and needs to be happening right now, because it actually may affect whether you continue to the point of closing. I can't imagine that just at the point of closing, you would suddenly go into that. The second thing is I appreciate Councilman Hubbard's caution on this, but I think the reality, as we know, is that Calverton Aviation and Technology is 75% owned by the Germasian family, and if they are, the concern that's been expressed by EPCAL Watch is that they're, as the fundamental financial source, that their troubles in New Jersey, their troubles in Minnesota and in Florida, in fact, dramatically affect the capacity that they have, not just for the original purchase, but for the development costs. So I think it's a false distinction between the Germasians and CAT. They are CAT. The concern I largely wanted to raise has to do with the action at the work session a few weeks ago, in which I guess the board in a work session approved sending to the Smart Cities program of the Empire State Development Program a partnership with Ariely, which, according to the Riverhead Local, required an approximate total match of $1.27 million from the CDA. One question I have is, what does that mean? Does that mean we are now committed to $1.27 million? And if so, was it enough to have that in a work session, or did it need to come in as a resolution to the board? If it's more procedural, then that answers that question, and that obligation may not exist. But the underlying question is whether the board rushed to a judgment or was pressured to rush to a judgment with a new partner, Ariely, which is also fundamental to the Germasians' reconfiguration of their appearance to the town, in the letters that were received both from the Germasians and from their attorney. Ariely, as you may have noticed an article in Riverhead Local about the questions that I brought up at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, which have still not been resolved, that Ariely had an extremely, or excuse me, New York University had an extremely negative experience with Ariely. A year ago, they announced with great fanfare a partnership, a project in which there would be many things they'd be doing together. And then when I inquired of the people at NYU prior to the Chamber of Commerce meeting, what I heard back was, and these were high-level people from NYU, in a nutshell, it was a disaster. The relationship went south very quickly. They were an unreliable and dishonest partner who stiffed us for $50,000 before I terminated the relationship with them less than 6 months after the glowing announcement. The second person at NYU wrote to me, "We had a terrible experience with them. They under-delivered on every milestone for us and for our companies, and we organized an event they never paid us for, despite being contractually obligated to support our program for $100,000. We decided to eat the $25,000 loss for the event and cut ties with them just to not be associated with them any further. I never like sharing negative feedback on anyone, but with Ariely, I strongly recommend you stay away from them for your own sanity." So those were comments from two high-level people at NYU that have appeared in the Riverhead Local and have been shared with others. And my question is, what are you doing about those comments? Are you talking directly to NYU? What is the implication of what was done in the work session financially and in terms of the commitment of the town to a partner that from credible sources seems to not be a terribly reliable one?
Is that the end of the question?
Yes, thank you.
Just checking. Just initially, I just want to point out that the Smart Cities opportunity is not a grant application. It was a questionnaire. Ariely contacted us seeking to inquire as to whether we would be interested in completing an application. We had seen the opportunity, but because it requires very technical information without a partner or assistance, my office was unable to do it. So they had contacted us. We had a conversation. We had a Zoom call, and we felt it was a good opportunity to potentially advance the public benefit by getting technical assistance in public benefit projects. So for instance, there's 3 projects that we looked at. One is smart mobility, so we could get a tech company to help us with smart mobility. The other is a agricultural irrigation project, and the third, and these are all kind of outlined by the state in the application. And the third is for what is the third for? Smart mobility, irrigation, and clean water technology. So just to clarify for your question, it's not a partnership in any way. There's no agreement between us and them, and in fact, we subsequently had a conference call with the state as a follow-up, and the program doesn't necessarily, if we were awarded a Smart Cities designation, which would be the result of the application if we were successful, doesn't necessarily mean we would be partnering with Ariely. For instance, the state could do a grant, not a grant, do an RFEI for a tech company to do any of the projects that we put forward. So strictly speaking, Ariely just assisted us in kind of creating the technology projects which would provide a public benefit, and that's really what the application is about. It's not a grant, there's no financial commitment on the part of the town board, so there was no necessary resolution. It really just was filling out a questionnaire, and we were grateful for their help, because had we not had that help, we wouldn't have been able to complete the application.
What does the total match of 1.27 million mean?
Well, it will mean something at some point potentially if we are awarded Smart Cities designation.
Okay, now you've answered that procedural question, so there is no obligation on the town. So the larger question then is, given the important role that Arieli appears to have now on the technological side, I don't know whether they're replacing Daniel Preston or exactly what it is the Germasians are proposing. Remember, we got a letter also from one of the Germasians on this. The question is, given the important role they are now being given in the description of the proposal, the CAT proposal, is the town investigating this experience with New York University to determine whether it should affect whether this newer version of CAT is still qualified and eligible?
So that's related to the qualified and eligible status, not the smart cities.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree. You've answered that question clearly. That was.
Okay, and did anybody else want to comment? Ron, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the board. I think you all understand your responsibilities. But I would just note again, for the record, that the town's contract with CAT contains a provision that allows the town to ask for reasonable assurances of performance. In addition, the case law in the state of New York is very clear that the town has the right to demand reasonable assurances of performance. I would just urge the supervisor and the rest of the town board, because I think what you're seeing is kind of a pattern of questions about whether or not there's been adequate analysis of the background of some of the parties the town has been doing business with in the past. But I would just respectfully ask that before the town expend more money on brokers, on experts, on in-house costs in terms of the town's planners, the town's attorney and the staff, that you demand what you've demanded in the past for months and months. I think an entire majority, including Councilwoman Giglio, Kent, Mr. Hubbard, and the supervisor, have all asked for financial documentation, which has not been provided. So before you go on a frolicking detour to pursue something that may never happen, I would just ask that you ask again for what was promised to you, particularly in the light of severe apparent financial distress by this particular applicant.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to comment? Okay.
Just to your point, Ron, I have been asking for clarification on financials, and I'm always looking to see more of a development plan for this moving forward. So thank you for your comments.
So Catherine, one point that I think is also significant is the DEC has rejected the town's submissions over and over and over again, precisely because CAT has not provided a development plan. And I know that Councilman Hubbard, you've asked for it, Councilman Giglio, you've asked for it, and the town is entitled to it. I'd love to see, and I think most people in Riverhead would love to see EPCAL developed, but absent a development plan and absent financial information, which God bless you, you've all asked for at least a year to my recollection, you really shouldn't be moving forward and committing the town's resources to pursue this.
Well, certainly I'd like to see economic development out there, as you stated. I mean, we need that as a place for jobs, as a job creator. But yes, I'm looking to see more of a development plan.
I just want to say, Ron, that Councilwoman Kent just said that she's asked for that. She's well aware that we have all asked for that.
Yeah,
so it's not like she's the only one doing that. We are all doing that. That's all part of the process.
Thank you very much. Keep plugging to get that. And let's hope that at some point you will, and at some point we'll see some positive activity up there. Thanks again, and stay safe.
Sorry,
Thank you.
there was never an answer to my question about whether the town was investigating Ariely as whether it was an appropriate partner for
First
the.
of all,
They're not a partner.
John, we're not an investigative body, okay, so let's get that out of the question. As far as looking into these, somebody's financial standing, as a real estate agent, a person who understands contract, a person who understands real estate, this is a very fluid situation. All we asked for was for subdivision. We are waiting. If it comes back and we don't get to the point where the DEC approves us, contract's over. You have to understand that. We want, everyone wants everything done, answers right now. We can't spend money. We have spoken to an independent attorney. We have spoken to our special counsel who's been assigned and hired for that purpose. 2 separate attorneys. And they guided us, wait to this DEC. Here we are. Trust me. The goal is to preserve the 1,050 acres and ensure that these people are vetted. We're not vetting them down right now. They've changed from the qualified and eligible. Now we have other people. 2 months, 4 months from now, we're gonna start spending money and energy to vet people, and they may change their investors. Because now we have to do a deeper search on these individuals, not only a letter of intent. So we have a good understanding of good financial forensics on the ability to have the money. It is a process. Everybody wants answers right now. It's both before the DEC, they're waiting. Unfortunately, it's taking longer than necessary because everyone in the DEC was assigned to the Department of Health to deal with COVID. We're still under a state of emergency. Let's not forget that. We are waiting. I personally called over there last week, and they told me they're gonna get back to me, and I'm still waiting. And I understand that we're still under state of emergency, and I can't make demands. We're gonna make sure that this is done right. And I can assure you, it will be done right if it takes off. If the DEC comes back and states, you don't have the subdivision, things change. It's a drastic change. We're not moving at the same speed as if we're closing next month. We have to be careful, judicious, not spend money, not spend all this time working on something that might not come to fruition. It's a waste of everybody's time. And I fully understand, John, your concerns, because they're my concerns. And
Thank you.
everybody's concerned in this board.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, let's move forward from EPCAL.
Chris Kent just came on, he might wanna comment on the CDA.
Okay, anybody else? Chris just came on, one more, and then we can, I think everybody spoke just about.
Chris, were you looking to make a comment on the CDA? Any CDA matter here?
Well, I just came on late to hear the meeting. I wasn't able to connect earlier, so I apologize. But I just wanted to go into what the further assurances provision in the contract. I don't want to belabor this, but if you read it, anybody who could read English, it's only one sentence in the contract, and it says that the parties agree to do such other and further acts and things, and to execute and deliver such instruments and documents as either may reasonably request from time to time, whether at or after the closing, in furtherance of the purposes of this agreement. Now, I didn't draft this agreement. I had nothing to do with the negotiation of the agreement, but in reading that language, the assurances will be requested and provided at the time of closing. So that is, I don't know what other people are saying as far as your ability to demand assurances. We will listen when you request it. We will voluntarily provide what we can provide. But the assurances provided under the contract are at the time of closing or after the closing. And we will abide by the terms of the contract that were negotiated and agreed to upon by others, okay? So that's, I just wanted to clarify that point. Because it keeps being talked about that you guys have certain rights for further assurances under the contract. But those assurances are not now. The closing is many, many months away still. So we'd like it to be sooner, but it's still many, many months away.
Okay. All right, Devin.
Okay. John?
Hearing no further comments, we need a motion to close the CDA meeting and to reopen the town board meeting in a second.
Motion to close.
I'll second.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, the CDA meeting is closed and the town board meeting is reopened.
Okay, can I have a first and a second to approve, reopening the town board, let's see, a first and a second to approve the town board minutes from June 2nd and June 16th?
So moved.
First and a second?
Second.
Take vote, please.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes of the June 2nd and June 16th town board minutes are approved. Want me to go into
Great, okay,
reports?
Diane, do you have any communications or reports?
Yes. Under correspondence, I have a letter from Dayhaven, and that is a letter of thanks to the town board from Lori Maldevere. She is the director of Dayhaven. Nancy Ryer sent a letter concerning the Brendan House at 4079 Sound Avenue, Riverhead. Greater Jamesport Civic Association sent a letter regarding Peconic Bay Beach at Center Street. John McAuliffe sent a letter concerning mortgage issues of Gramasians with regard to the Minnesota Mall of America. Barbara Blas sent comments on the neg deck resolution for 331 East Main Street. Robert Skinner sent a letter concerning Chapter 301-233 and with regard to airport facilities. There was a letter that came late, and it was mentioned earlier. This is from Glynis Berry of Peconic Green Growth and Mark Haubner. And this is a letter regarding amendments to Chapter 301 regarding water conservation and landscaping. So that was not on the agenda because that did come in late. In addition, I have reports. The tax receiver total tax collection to date as of June 29th was $158,718,578.53. Riverhead Fire District submitted their 2019 financial statements. The building department submitted their June monthly report, and that was $124,113. Town clerk, June monthly report, $9,355.75. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Diane.
All right. The first public hearing for today was scheduled for 2 o'clock. It is now 2:59. And we're opening a public hearing for town residents to express citizen views on community development needs utilizing federal HUD funds via Suffolk County CDBG Consortium. I will now ask Dawn Thomas, our CDA Director, to come forward and briefly discuss the item on the agenda.
Good afternoon. Wearing my CDD hat instead of my CDA hat. This is our Community Development Block Grant Program. You're familiar with it. We do this annually, where the Housing and Urban Development Department of the federal government provides funding to block grant funding to the state. Suffolk County is the administrator of that, and we are part of a consortium that works with Suffolk County to acquire as much funding as possible for the towns and villages that are part of the consortium. This year, because of COVID, they adopted the CARES Act. The CARES Act is going to provide additional funding for COVID prevention and response, and so they are giving the county consortium some significant additional dollars, and it looks like we are expected to get about an additional $163,000 for town public service groups and town needs relating to COVID response and prevention. So a couple of the things that we have on our list to get are the replacement of one of our senior transportation buses, as you have been well aware, obviously, because you're doing it. The buses and the needs of our seniors have increased. You commenced the SAFE program, and that's needs vehicular support, as well as our Meals on Wheels program. So those vehicles can be applied for, and we have some public service groups that have sought funding, and so if any of them are online, we will hear from them. And this is a shorter time frame. Normally it's a 30-day notice. This time it's a 5-day notice. And so I'll leave it to the
Okay, and would, any members of the community like to, make a public comment on this public hearing?
Anybody on Zoom want to make a public comment here? Okay, seeing nobody?
Alright, perfect. Do any town board members wanna make a comment?
No.
No? Okay, we'll close this public portion of the public meeting. We'll leave it open for written comments for 10 days until 4:30 PM on July 17th at the clerk's office. Public meeting is now closed. Okay,
Can we,
oh,
alright, can we leave the comment open for just 5 days because we're on the expedited timeframe? Normally 10 would be great, but this time 5.
that's fine, no problem. We'll make a note. Diane, can you make a note of that? And that's fine, because this is COVID money coming in, and we have to, and that's again, congratulations and thank you for that, another grant coming to Riverhead.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Okay, it is now 3:03, and the next public hearing was scheduled for 2:05. The consideration of a proposal local law to amend chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning and Land Development, Article 45, Supplementary Use Regulations, 301-233, Airport Facilities and Access Uses. Bob, can you come up as our town attorney and briefly explain to the public?
Sure.
Bob, if I could just kick off and then you can jump in with what I miss, okay?
Fine.
So this was actually, we had a public hearing on this. This came out of code revision. This is something that we worked on. A lot of towns have had problems with seaplanes landing within their town, so that we began work on this at the request of the helicopter task force, to prohibit seaplanes in our area. We did have a public hearing last year, and then we did get a few letters in, so we did make some amendments and changes, but that's why we're having the, public hearing again. So the legislation is that helicopters, seaplanes, and amphibious aircraft are prohibited. Seaplanes are prohibited. The section that we did change again was section D, which states, this subsection does not apply to the airfields owned by the town of Riverhead or the town of Riverhead Community Development Agency. That's the section, I'll let Bob address that more, but that was the part that we amended. Also, we made sure that this does not apply to accessory use to agriculture, and then there are, fines, 1,000 for the first offense and 2,000 for the second subsequent offense. So Bob, if you wanna add any details, I just gave a very brief general, I'm pleased to move forward with this. It took a little bit of work on the part of the code revision committee, but I believe that we got it right this time.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Catherine, if you don't mind, I have an agenda that we follow. Usually, board members, after we speak about it, make comments. You just throw it off. Bob was gonna introduce the topic. This issue has been addressed before. The only thing that was missing was seaplanes. We're back here just to insert seaplanes.
Well, I addressed the
Seaplanes.
topic
One
because
second.
this is something I worked on, that's
Let me finish,
all.
okay? So I need to follow the agenda, make sure that the public is informed instead of just choppy pieces, and I really appreciate, all board members will, after, the issue is addressed, will be able to make a comment. I appreciate if you could do that, and Bob, it's yours, go ahead.
All right.
And I will
Well-
remind you again that board members are allowed to speak.
We're not saying that we're not, we're saying in order and not to interrupt as you usually do. Thank you.
As councilperson has pointed out, this was a matter that was held before the town board on October 16th, 2019 at 6:05. This text, in essentially the same format, was heard by this town board at a town board hearing. As with the legislation that was just discussed by Councilperson Kent, we are looking to amend section 301-233 to add subsections B, C, D, E, and F. After we held the public hearing in October of 2019, October 16. It was pointed out to us that the prior legislation, which only exempted or excluded airfields owned by the town, and it said town-owned airfields, and I think most of us just kind of look at the Calverton Executive Air Park, which is part of the former Grumman facility, and kind of gloss over and consider it town-owned. But it was brought to our attention that, in fact, that's the Community Development Agency property, and in order to properly address this, we should amend, or it was suggested we should amend subsection D to say Town of Riverhead and/or Town of Riverhead Community Development Agency airfields. In fact, the Calverton Executive Air Park, which it's known as, and which has an FAA designation of 3C8, is really the one that should have been addressed. So this was a hearing that was held on October 16th of 2019, and all we're here to do is ask for the public's input to see whether we've got it correct. And the reason why the change was made was because we wanted to make sure we addressed Calverton Executive Air Park, which is the CDA property.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, and would any members of the public like to make a statement? Devin, is anyone joining us through via Zoom?
Somebody?
Yes.
John, you wanted to make a comment? Go ahead, John. State your name
Yes,
and
please.
timelet, please, for the record.
John Cullen, Northville Beach Civic and Riverhead Noise Task Force, dealing with helicopters and seaplanes. I hope the town, I wish and hope the town board and your families are doing well during this crazy time we're going through. I can say that the helicopters coming through Riverhead have been, excuse me, has improved, not 100%, but better than it was. And obviously with this virus going around, the numbers compared to the previous years are tremendously lower. Sorry, I'm trying to read something over here. As you know, East Hampton Airport may close in the future, and if that were to happen, that would be bringing seaplanes to our shores. And I hope that the town board passes this resolution when it makes it up to vote. We need to stay ahead of the wave, no pun there. On February 24th, 2020, I made my way to the Suffolk County Legislation meeting in Riverside. Supervisor Aguirre, you were there. Unfortunately, I missed you as I came in a couple of minutes late. But I was able to make a public comment at this meeting, which was also about the environment. I asked if seaplanes could be bringing in parasites and invasive species from other waterways to our local waters, and the environmental specialist, Charles Smith, from Cornell Cooperative Extension said, absolutely. This last year, we had a horrific scallop season, and we'd never want to see something like that for our baymen again. And somebody just mentioned to me just moments ago about just yesterday we had an air quality alert going through Riverhead for 11 or 12 hours. And that having airplanes and seaplanes and jets going through this and the smog that just gets stuck in there coming down on us just doesn't really work, unfortunately. I have all this on from the legislation on tape. If anybody would like to see it, just reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to pass it on to you. I'd like to thank the town attorney, Bob Cos, for all the work him and his team have done with this, and the extra work also. I'd like to thank also Councilwoman Catherine Kent and our committee and some outsiders for making Riverhead a quieter and more peaceful town from the skies. Thanks for your time, and thanks for your consideration.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John, for your words. You're always a gentleman.
Thank you, John. Chris, did you want to make a comment? I saw you tried before. Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to see if we could add also to paragraph D some additional language. I had sent a letter to the town back in October when this was first heard. So in paragraph D, I'd like it to read after Town of Riverhead and or the Town of Riverhead Community Development Agency. If we could add nor to any successors and or assigns of airfields owned by the Town of Riverhead and or the Town Community Development Agency.
Probably have
And
to
then
go back
put-
to another public hearing on that, yes.
And then put a semicolon and say nor shall it apply to. You could put a semicolon there and then add the words nor shall it apply to medical or police emergency landings and takeoffs, etc.
All right, Chris, would you
I
take
think
that
we
up
might
with Bob, because there's a possibility if we adjust it, we might have to have another public hearing.
Okay, it
So,
was in the
yeah,
letter that I
work
wrote
it
back,
with
but I
Bob.
also suggested you add the town community development agency, since
Okay.
they were the owner of the airport.
Yeah, you know what, we don't
Well, that's
wanna
why
be
we
a
did
breach of
change.
contract, cause we're not supposed to change any zoning in EPCAL, so we have to make sure that this all gets worked out, okay?
Yeah, because it would be inconsistent if you
complicated.
didn't include that with the PDD, which permits aircraft. You'd want this language to be consistent by allowing anybody who purchases or any successors of interest to the property, to an airport property owned by the town of Riverhead or the town community development agency would also have the same rights.
All right, we'll have to, we'll adjust that with, give Bob a call and, we'll do what we have
Okay.
to get done and make sure that we're not in breach of contract.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well, I will take a look at that, Chris. We'll take a look at that with the code revision committee again, and Bob, see if we think that's a major change or not. Because this time we felt we needed to have another public hearing, cause it was a pretty big change. But also, I did wanna thank, John Cullen and the team who, the task force who also well, of course, the code revision committee is great. And then the helicopter people actually weighed in and helped us get information from other towns and helped us get the language in this, legislation. So thank you.
Well, this change wouldn't be adding any properties to the, that would be permitted to have these rights under the code. It would just be continuing the rights that are currently enjoyed on the same property, but allowing them to continue, run with the land, upon transfer. That's what the change is.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
okay,
Okay. Bob, do you need to comment? You good?
no,
Okay.
they're gonna address it.
All right, John McAuliffe, you had something to wanted to comment, go ahead.
Yes, John McAuliffe, from Riverhead again. I just wanted to highlight that alarm bells ought to be ringing right now from Mr. Kent's intervention. He's trying to protect the use of that land, obviously, by the Germasians. In various versions of development descriptions, there have been things that would imply aerial use of the runways, even potentially as a cargo port out of warehousing there. I know, but the question is whether, as you look at this language, you ought to be very clear that it is not the intention of the town to have major air traffic. I mean, it's one thing to have incidental air traffic, it's another if it becomes major air traffic out of the land. I'm not saying to resolve it right now, I'm just saying just be very careful about how the language is ultimately written in this particular resolution.
And your point is well taken, understandably. Okay.
Okay. Looks like that's it for comments.
Okay, hearing no one, we're gonna close it, it is 3:15, we're gonna, oh, I'm sorry, do any board members have, wanna make comments on this?
No, thank you.
Oh, the only comment was made earlier on. Okay, so we'll close this public portion section and leave it open for written comment for 10 days, until 4:30 on July 17th at the clerk's office. We'll now move on to public comments on the resolutions before us today. Does anyone wish to be heard, that called in through Zoom? I don't think we have anybody in the audience here, though it was open to a limited amount of individuals. Debbie, can you check the meeting room and see, if anyone in Zoom wants to make comments on any of the resolutions before us today?
Okay, so we're gonna go in order that we see you guys. John, Helen, did you wanna make a comment on any of the resolutions before the town board today?
No comment, thank you.
Okay, Barbara Blass.
No comment at this time on general comments after the resolutions, though.
Okay, we'll get back to you later. Chris Kent.
No comments on resolutions.
Okay, John McAuliffe. you're muted. John, we can't hear
No
you.
comment.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mike Foley. Looks like we might have lost Mike. Kelly McClinchy, any comments on the resolutions before us today?
She's muted.
No, thank you.
Mike Foley, you looking to comment? We see
I
you
am
just-
not, thank you.
Okay. Eric Beegler? East End Arts?
They're muted.
They're muted on their end, not on
Okay.
our end. Monique Parsons?
No, thank you.
Okay, and somebody, presumably Teresa, it says Teresa's iPad.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, hearing no comments, Diane, can you please call the resolutions?
Resolution 295.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider site plan application known as 331 East Main Street, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-129-4-15, located in the Downtown Center DC1 zoning use district. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 296.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider special permit application known as 331 East Main Street, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-129-4-15, located in the Downtown Center DC1 zoning use district. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 297.
Resolution authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice of public hearing for Community Development Agency, purchase of property located at 117 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County, tax map 600, 129, 1-12, 121 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County, tax map 600, 129-1-13, and 127 East Main Street, Riverhead, Suffolk County, tax map 600, 129-1-14. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
New Renaissance for Riverhead. Yes, absolutely.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 298.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning Land Development. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes to the public hearing.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 299.
I'd like to make a motion to table Resolution 299. At this point in time, it's my understanding that they have not supplied a map yet for this event, and it's part of what we requested, so until we receive that, I would like to table this. So I make a motion to table
I'll second the table.
299.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution 299 is tabled. Resolution 300.
Amendment fee waiver request of special event for North Fork Event Company, North meets South. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 301.
Approve special event application for Chapter 255 for Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research Paddle Battle. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 302.
Extends bid non-protunct for disposal and recycling of municipal solid waste. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Aguirre?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 303.
Extends bid for fire and security alarm contract. So moved.
Please vote.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 304.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for bids for the town of Riverhead and Calverton Sewer District's generator preventative maintenance and service. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 305.
Extends bid for disposal of town-generated construction and demolition materials. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 306.
Awards bid for 2020 annual construction contract. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 307.
Yep, just give me a second to scroll down to it.
Oh, boy.
Holy moly.
Got it?
It's coming.
Yeah, the last one was quite lengthy.
Yeah, it is Russia contract, yeah.
Always is. Let me read it off here. Resolution 307, awards bid for 2020 annual procurement contract. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 308.
Extends bid for annual diesel generator maintenance for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 309.
Accepts the resignation of a Spanish-speaking clerk. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 310.
Ratifies the appointment of a maintenance mechanic 4 to the street lighting division of the town engineers department. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 311.
Appoints a seasonal registered nurse to the recreation department. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 312.
Appoint seasonal personnel to the recreation department. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 313.
Ratifies the appointment of a seasonal registered nurse to the recreation department. So moved.
Please vote.
Oh, I second. Sorry.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 314.
Ratifies the appointment of seasonal summer recreation staff to the recreation department. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 315.
Ratify the salary schedule for 2020 summer personnel for the Riverhead, I believe it should say Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 316.
Resolution amending resolution number 242 adopted on June 2nd, 2020, and setting terms and conditions of employment for Assistant Town Engineer Kenneth Testa. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 317.
Highway Metal Storage Building, capital project number 45126, closure. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 318.
Police Department budget adjustment. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 319.
Ambulance District Fund Balance Transfer, so moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
This is for the ambulance to purchase 40 new radios that will give them far better communications in areas such as at the EPCAL property and in other areas where we are lacking good radio transmission abilities. So, yes.
Giglio.
Yeah, and I want to thank Councilman Hubbard for working so diligently on this and getting it done. It's something that the ambulance corps seriously needs, and matter of public safety. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and this is also, again, thank you, and this is taking them to a next level of coverage throughout the entire town, including the beaches, I understand, right?
Yes.
And Wading River and Jamesport, and
Yes.
those three areas that they
Mhm.
had main concerns. Also, it's gonna serve a little bit of as a backup system.
Yes.
Because they're gonna maintain the old radios, and if anything happens, they're gonna be able to revert back. So you're gonna have redundancy there, and overall, it's a good effort. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 320.
2020 CHIPS Road Resurfacing Grant Budget Adoption, so moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes, I know Gio's been waiting for this so we can get some roads paved, so yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 321.
2020 EWR Road Resurfacing Grant, so moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 322.
2020 Pave New York Road Resurfacing Grant, so moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 323.
Railroad Avenue Urban Renewal Strategic Plan Project number 72002, revised budget adoption, so moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 324.
Amends Resolution 273-2020 Downtown Revitalization Round 18 Funding, so moved.
And seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 325.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute Urban County Co-op agreement for CDBG Consortium, so moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 326.
Adopts the provisions of Chapter 92 of the laws of 2020 and extends the filing deadline for any application or renewal application for any real property tax abatement program or real property tax exemption program. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
As per the request of the assessors, yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 327.
You have to give me 1 second here.
That's, that one. That's an easy one.
Stay awake, everybody.
It's an easy one.
Resolution to support County of Suffolk preservation of farmland located on Phillips Avenue, Aquabog, New York, Suffolk County tax map number 0600-45-215.2, owned by the late Lyle Wells. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes, very quickly, very important historically. The Wells family have been farming this continuously for 12 generations since 1661 to have their the late Lyle's son and daughter come back to farm this property is amazing, to say the least, and I wish them a lot of luck into the future, and thank you to the Farmland Committee for supporting this, and hopefully the county can get it done. Absolutely yes.
Kent.
I'm also pleased to move forward with this. Obviously, the Wells family are one of our oldest families in Riverhead, and I went to school with Lyle, so I'm glad we're moving forward with this. Glad to have Jessica and Matt back working the farm, and I vote yes.
Hubbard.
I want to thank Frank for being the mastermind behind this and pushing this forward. This is an absolutely perfect situation of what should be done with farmland. And I can't think of a better family name for this to happen to, so I absolutely vote yes.
Giglio.
Yeah, and I want to thank Frank also for bringing it forward. I got to actually meet Jessica for the first time last week, and they're a lovely family and a long-time family here in Riverhead. So I support that, and I just hope that the county, with the preservation money being so limited on the county level for open space and farmland preservation, that they prioritize this piece of property for preservation and that it remains the Wells Farm forever. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, great effort, and again, thank you, Frank.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 328.
That would be me, right?
Resolution authorizing non-pro-tunc legal action against the owner of premises located at 510 Toomey Avenue, Riverhead, New York, so moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 329.
Authorize the supervisor to execute sub-license agreement between the County of Suffolk and the Town of Riverhead and Nelson Pope and Voorhees. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 330.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute professional service agreements with Goodman Marks Associates. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 331.
We're gonna wait again for a minute.
Please vote. What happened? Oh, you're waiting. Let me know, this is the easy one. Well, somebody else can read it, right?
It's just the way I do it. It goes through every piece of paperwork that's in here. We're up to 331, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement, nunc-pro-tunc, with Hampton Oyster Company LLC to allow the installation of floating upweller system, FLUPSI, in East Creek. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 332.
Authorizes an agreement with Granicus for legislative management software license solution. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 333.
Authorizes the creation of a Town of Riverhead Climate Smart Community Task Force. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Just gonna talk a minute about these. There are 3 resolutions in a row, so I'll talk about them all at once. These are 3 resolutions that came out of the Environmental Committee. This is the Climate Smart Community Initiative that we took on about a year ago. These are steps along the way. We have continued to be working towards this. These are actually clerical things. One sets up a task force. The task force is actually the committee that we have. We also have a green team. The green team is supposed to be people that work within the town. And then we also have a coordinator who is going to be Jason Blizzard over at engineering. So we're very happy to have a partnership between community workers and people within the town moving this forward. The engineering department is getting a tremendous amount of stuff done that help Riverhead to be climate smart, and I'm happy to vote yes on this.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 334.
Appoints a Climate Smart Community Coordinator to the Town of Riverhead Climate Smart Community Task Force. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 335.
Appoints an internal green team to the Town of Riverhead Climate Smart Community Task Force. So moved.
Seconded?
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 336.
Approves Shea Valley Enterprises LTD Plumbing and Heating as a drain layer for the Riverhead Sewer District. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 337.
Adopts rate structure table for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
This is a good start. Absolutely, yes, and we may need to do more in the future, but I appreciate the work that was put into this. Mr. Mancini, the head of our water department, spent a lot of time with this, and I think it's well needed. We often take water for granted as it's one of our least expensive commodities, but we need to rethink that, and we may have to rethink that some more down the road, but this is a good start, so yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Please
Ag-
vote.
Aguiar.
Yes, absolutely, I forgot.
Resolution adopted.
Great.
Resolution 338.
Resolution for water use restriction. So moved.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yeah, and I'd just like to thank our water district superintendent who is sitting in the audience. I can't believe he's actually sitting for this long because I always see him moving around trying to make our water district better. And the recommendations came from the water district to limit watering between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. because that's when most people are home and they're using their dishwashers, they're taking showers, they're getting ready for the day, they're, washing their hands, washing clothes. So that is a high water consumption period. So that's why the recommendation is to not water during those times and to water in the early hours of the morning preferably. I've seen a lot of comments about people saying, why would you encourage us to water in the middle of the day? Well, you don't have to because yes, it will dissipate faster, but if you set your sprinkler for 3 o'clock in the morning, that'll be before 5 a.m. and that should, keep the grass moist all day. And as Councilman Bayrock pointed out last week, just because your grass is turning a little bit brown doesn't mean that it's dying. It's just, it's dormant. So, please work with us while we're trying to get through these water district hurdles. We had a very good call this morning with the water district and with the Boy Scouts of America trying to get a new well site on their property, and we have with Councilman Hubbard and Councilman Bayrod and the town board trying to get another well site and moving that up on the capital project plan so that we can get another well site. So it's a tremendous effort by everybody here at Town Hall to have the best water district and the best water supply in Suffolk County. And with your help, we'll be able to do that. So thank you, and I will vote yes.
Aguiar.
Absolutely, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 339.
Pays the bills.
That's one.
Seconded.
Please vote.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Thank you, Diane. At this point, we will open this meeting for public comments on any matter which we are, and on any matter. We're again conducting this meeting through dialing, Zoom, and virtually. The information is on the website. It's been provided yesterday. When you log in, you'll be placed in a waiting room, and we will call you in the same order that you came into the meeting. Devin, can you check the waiting room, please?
Okay, Barbara Blast, did you want to make a comment here today?
Yes, I did. Thank you for the opportunity. For the record, my name is Barbara Blass, and I live in Jamesport. I just have 3 quick questions on separate matters. The first has to do with the resolution that was passed at the last board meeting approving a parking study for the downtown. And I'm just asking that you direct someone to put the study online so that we can all read it. We don't have access to it otherwise, and there are individuals who may be interested in reading it. And that's just.
When I read it online.
I'm sorry?
When I read this parking study, I read it online. I will look to see if something happened. but I did read it recently and I saw it there and we'll look again, so thank you for me.
I would love to know where it is online. I will look again because I foiled it and haven't yet received it. But if it's online, I thank you very much and I will look again. And if it's not, I respectfully request that somebody be asked to do that. But thank you.
We'll look into that for you, Barbara, sure.
I'm sorry?
I said we'll look into that for you, no problem.
Oh, thank you so much. The second comment has to do with the S-Power application that was submitted for the 290-acre solar facility in Calverton that was up at the siting board, and it was submitted on June 29th. It's a really extensive application, and it'll take more than a few days to get through all of it. But as I was reading, I came across something that I thought would be important to bring to your attention today. And for those who are interested, it's Appendix 11B, and it's the site plan dated June 4th of this year. And there's a notation on that site plan that reads in part, and I quote, and these aren't my words, this is on the map, mounds of trash, debris, and contaminated material to be removed. So my question is, do we know the nature of the contamination and who designated it as contaminated? I don't know who has control of that site, but I just respectfully ask that, shouldn't this be addressed now, separate and apart from the actual solar application? And the third has to do with an application that was submitted back in December, and that was for the expansion of a mining operation up on Youngs Avenue. And I know there was some sort of dispute between the town and the DEC over lead agency status on that application. And it's been several months, and I just wondered if that dispute has been resolved.
No, we don't have a decision yet as to who gets lead agency. I checked on it yesterday.
Okay, and will somebody be asked to look into that contaminated site or area of that site plan that's shown?
Yeah, of course.
Bob, did you work on that? Did you do that?
For the solar project, it says that they're gonna
S-Power?
remove. You know, 11D.
No, 11B is the appendix, yes. And it was a site plan dated 6/4 of 2020, so it's fairly recent. Thank you very much. Those are all of the comments that I have. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Barbara. Anybody else for comments? Go ahead, Ron.
Yes, I want to actually take a minute to respond to what I believe is a misstatement by Mr. Kent regarding the further assurances clause in the town's contract. And I would direct your attention to section 23. It's on page 33 and 34 of the town's contract with CAT. Contrary to the suggestion by Mr. Kent, it doesn't limit the town's entitlement to seek further assurances of performance to just before closing. In fact, the language is that the parties agree to do such other and further acts and things, and to execute and deliver such instruments as documents as either may reasonably request from time to time, whether at closing or after, in furtherance of the purposes of the agreement. So Mr. Kent's insistence that you can ask for it way down the line is just not accurate. It's an attempt to mislead the board. And again, in view of this board's unanimous request for further financial assurances, and in light of public reports again of financial distress of Mr. Kent's client, it is incumbent on Mr. Kent to provide that financial backup for the town to be certain that Calvin Aviation can perform its end of the bargain consistent with the representations.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. Anybody else for comments? Go ahead, Chris.
I'll just say that I read the exact same words that Ron just read. I read them into the record earlier. They were exactly the same. The words are no different than what I read. So I guess he's interpreting them differently, where they say from time to time, whether at or after the closing. I guess he's interpreting them to mean something different.
Right, and I think you could solve the problem, Chris.
I'm sorry, I didn't think this was a dialogue.
No, it is not a dialogue between you two folks.
Okay, hold on a second. This is for comments, okay? Everyone made a comment. You're both
So, Chris-
attorneys. We're gonna vet it through our attorneys, our independent attorney and the special counsel that we have. You can go
So-
argue with each other on the phone, but we're moving forward, and whatever you say, we're not taking it carte blanche. We're going and we're being directed by our independent
And I
counsel.
appreciate that, and I would
Yes.
just ask Mr. Kent, I would just request, Mr. Kent, because there's a lot of disturbing reports regarding 555, to please do what Jody Giglio, do what Tim Hubbard, do what Catherine Kent, do what the supervisor have requested for months and months, and provide the financial backup to support your client's claimed ability to develop
We
this
will-
project.
This is our contract, and obviously there's the client, and he's represented, the clients are represented by our counsel, but we will work on this, and, we don't need you guys each telling us what we have to do, where we go, and accusations, and trust me, this contract will be vetted. Okay. Moving
Anyone
forward.
else to comment here? John
Thank
McAuliffe,
you.
go ahead.
Two after notes. One is, I didn't comment earlier about the new project to make a town square, and I do want to say two things on it. One is that I think it is a marvelous step forward, and everybody is to be commended for it, from planning and on the board itself. And second, though I've disagreed with Ms. Giglio, the Councilwoman Giglio, in the past, I don't think it's fair to ask her to exclude herself on this. She's sort of damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. You could argue that the square going in will benefit her, or you can argue that another building would benefit her, but I think she's able to separate that interest from the larger town interests, and I appreciate her motivation on this.
And John,
The last thing I wanted to ask Supervisor is if you had any update on the planning of the evaluation of the town justice system or the town police force that the governor has requested, whether you've moved forward on creating a process for that.
okay, so you asked a couple of questions, and I'll answer them in the order that you asked them. As far as Councilwoman Giglio, this is a town square that's gonna benefit. She has no interest in it, and we are, everyone agrees that she actually knows about building, and she's the perfect person.
Yeah, I agree.
To work with
I
that.
agree completely.
On that, and thank you for those comments. As far as, the reform bill, it just came about recently. The state has informed us they're gonna give us some guidance that we needed. In the meantime, I pulled up the criminal justice reform process, which is a guidance, that's what everybody's gonna probably follow anyway. I've met with two separate individuals. I am determined to not make this political. We do have a lot of people who want to be on it for whatever personal reasons and what's going on. I have reached out to the clergy. I think the clergy should be involved to a certain extent with this, and we are moving forward. The police chief will be a critical component, and we will have members, all types, a diversified group going forward. And it's a working process, mind you, and you know that we're still under COVID. We're still conducting the same operations and also trying to get back to normal. So it is taxing on the individuals that have to carry on everyday operations. A mandate that no one is giving you any guidance, but we did take the initiative to move forward, and we are, I expect to meet soon with the, police chief and a few other members of the community and see how we're gonna do it together. Again, it's gonna be a collective effort, it's gonna be a cohesive effort, it's gonna be a well planned out effort, and, politics will be removed from that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, Kelly McClinchy, any comments?
No, thank you.
Eric Beegler, any comments?
No comments.
Okay, East End Arts?
No, thank you.
Okay, and Monique Parsons?
No, thank you.
Okay, that's everybody in the room, meeting room.
And I have some comments to make.
Okay.
Is that everybody? Do we get all the public?
That's everybody from the Zoom meeting room, yes.
Just wanted to talk a minute because part of the democratic process on being on a board is that we are elected and we work for the public and we have opportunities where we speak. There are times where we need to tell the public about things that we're working on. So as far as, on a couple of occasions, there have been things happen where, the supervisor has tried to keep me from speaking. I don't think it was unusual today for me to introduce legislation that I've been working on for a couple of years, and that's why I chose to talk about it, and frankly, I think as a courtesy, it might have been nice for me to be able to introduce that legislation. I'm a respectful board member, I'm a good listener up here, I'm always fair-minded to my council mates, and I would appreciate the same respect. Certainly, I answer to the public, I work for the residents, and I will continue to speak out, and I can say that there is no way that I will be silenced. If I have things to say, things I've worked on, or things that I want to talk about, rest assured that I take my responsibility seriously, and I will be speaking out, even if people try to get me to be quiet.
Okay, and that's your personal opinion. Unfortunately, you're getting a little emotional on this again.
I'm not emotional
Hold on
at
a
all.
second.
I'm very
I let
calm.
you speak, okay? We have an order, and it seems that you're constantly interrupting. And when we ask for the agenda, that you wanna speak on something on work session, we ask you to give it to us, and you pull out all these, Bibles, and you start going on and on. You know, we have to have control of our meetings, no one is gonna stop. As you noticed, when we were dealing with the resolutions, we also said, board members, that is the time, it's appropriate. You've been on the board for 2.5 years, you know the schedules of meeting and how they progress. And I haven't had a board member tell me that there's something wrong with this, the process that I'm following, because I'm following the proper protocol. And lastly, if you have an issue, maybe professionally, let's talk about it behind closed door and not in public and make accusations. And I'm gonna end this meeting now. Can I have a first and a second to close this meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All opposed?